in a move to bring relief to Nigeria's elderly citizens, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved an upward review of pensions and introduction of free healthcare coverage for retirees. Now, this decision comes at a time when rising costs and medical bills have placed a heavy burden on pensioners. Now, according to a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onaniga, the President emphasized that retirees, particularly those with limited means, deserve dignity, support and access to basic services after years of service to the nation. And I quote, the President directed the expedited rollout of the free healthcare initiative for low-income retirees under the contributory pension scheme and called for the immediate implementation of pension increase and the minimum pension guarantee, unquote. President Tinubu also ordered PENCOM to resolve the long-standing issues surrounding police pensions, stressing that personnel who served and protect the nation must retire with dignity and peace of mind. So how will this policy work in practice? Who stands to benefit the most? Can it be sustained in the long run? Tonight, we'll break down what the approval means to pensioners, the economy, and the nation's social security future. Good evening and hello. This is NTA Tuesday Live. I am Jumba Yusuf. Before we go into the conversation proper, let's get to see this background report put together by our correspondent, Muhammad Rabiu Ali.
August 6, 2025, pensioners received the good news as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu directed the National Pension Commission to address salient issues surrounding pensioners' welfare. One of such is to roll out free healthcare access initiatives for low-income retirees. This significant breakthrough under the contributory pension scheme is crucial to social protection and dignity of pensioners, as most of them could not have access for better healthcare services. Another one is the implementation of the long-overdue pension increase and a minimum pension guarantee that will provide safety net for the most vulnerable pensioners under the contributory pension scheme, CPS. The long-outstanding police pension issue was also raised as President Tinubu directed the PENCOM boss to urgently resolve the matter, emphasizing that police officers who served for 35 years protecting the nation deserve happy and fulfilled life after retirement. While assuring prompt implementation of presidential orders, the Director General PENCOM outlines ongoing efforts by the Commission to ensure value preservation on pension assets, especially in the face of inflation and macroeconomic pressures, as well as plan to introduce foreign currency contributions to enable Nigerians in diaspora to participate in the pension system. These initiatives, President Tinubu strongly supported the reforms, reaffirming his administration's commitment to inclusive growth and protection of ordinary Nigerians. What next is, how are these transformative pension initiatives going to be translated into reality that will enhance retirees' welfare and expand the pension scheme's reach? Stakeholders at Tuesday Live will provide answers to these and other salient issues related to pension matters in Nigeria.
Welcome back. And apart from the background report, we'll be having phone calls. You can send in your contribution through our Twitter handle, and make sure that your phone call is short and simple. And please don't forget to tone down the audio of your device when we hook you up to the studio. And to help me unpack this policy and its implementation, I am being joined by Comrade Silva Nwanwu, National Chairman, Nigerian Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension Scheme. You're welcome to Tuesday Live.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Much, yeah.
And Comrade Felix Ajoku, Public Relations Officer, Federal Civil Service Pensioner Branch of NUP. You're welcome to Tuesday Live. And joining me from Maiduguri via Zoom is Ahmed Ghazali. He's the Chairman, Nigerian Union of Pensioners in Maiduguri. I will begin with Comrade Ahmed Ghazali, so that he can break down some of these issues for us. Can you walk us through what exactly, the President has approved and what who are the immediate beneficiaries, and how can this implementation process take place?
Yeah, good evening, Nigerians, and thank you for having me. Let me make this correction. I am a Senior Assistant General Secretary from the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, National Headquarters, Abuja. I just drive into Maiduguri this evening, and I was asked to hook on this program. Yeah, actually, precisely, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu approved pension increase of 32,000 naira pension increase as a result of the 70,000 national minimum wage across the board to all Nigerian pensioners. That approval came, but it was not effective. The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, a department saddled with the responsibility of taking care of pensioners under the defined benefit scheme, couldn't have any budget allocation as it regards to the implementation of the 32,000 pension increase. But in an attempt to commence payment, the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate had a plan to start paying the arrears, accumulated arrears of about 9 months of the pension increase, which pensioners have benefited on the increment. But the implementation did not commence on the payment of their monthly pension. But as a result of the pronouncement made by the President precisely on the 6th of August 2025, it was unprecedented. Pensioners were highly delighted, were expecting that the August pension will come along with the full implemented pension increase of 32,000 naira effective by end of this month. This is our expectation. And then the major issue now is I can see the Director General of the National Pension Commission with Mr. President. I think precisely about a year ago, we had a meeting with the Director General of National Pension Commission in which we advised her to use all the powers she could to see Mr. President, that it is only Mr. President that can give approval for the payment of 32,000 naira pension increase to pensioners under contributory pension scheme. The pensioners under contributory pension scheme, since the scheme started, did not benefit or enjoy any pension increment. There is one of 15% in 2007, then 33% in 2010, and then the 2019 30,000 minimum wage or consequential adjustment as a result of the 30,000 minimum wage. They couldn't benefit any. And then the recent approval of 20% pension increment by Mr. President, and likewise the 32,000 naira pension increments were never paid to pensioners under the contributory pension. So these are two issues, two pension departments having issues of not paying the pension increases as approved by Mr. President as a result of non-allocation of budget that actually delayed all the payments. So this is where we are now, and we are expecting that with the pronouncement of Mr. President, the matching order, pension increases of this 32,000 naira will be paid to pensioners in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But precisely on Saturday morning, 2 months arrears of this 32,000 pension increase were paid for parastatal pensioners, and then 1 month to federal pensioners benefited from the out of the arrears. So, but the major concern of Nigerian pensioners under the defined benefit scheme as of at the moment is the commencement of the 32,000 naira pension increment to reflect in their monthly pension. So our expectation is that by the end of August, we can see the release of 32,000 naira pension increase along with the monthly pension of the federal pensioners. That's where we are.
Okay, Ahmed Akali, thank you so much for your opening comment there. We'll return to you, but I have my guests in the studios and I want their opinion. Pension issue has always been a problem in Nigeria. We've seen pensioners, protests. Lately, it was the police pensioners that were protesting non-payment of pension. So when this statement was released, I was excited because one day I will be part of the pension scheme itself. I'll be collecting my pension after some years. So, Mr. Comrade Silva, what was your reaction when the press release was released by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and what do you make of it? How do you think it's going to work out?
Thanks so much, and good evening, viewers. Honestly, when this announcement was made, the pronouncement was made, because it was unprecedented. If you listen to the first speaker, Alhaji Ghazali, he mentioned that from 2007 to date, those of us under the contributory pension and had never enjoyed any pension increase. And if you check from 2007 to date, you know how many years. And for the first time, a president of Nigeria is showing concern and showing commitment to alleviate the sufferings of retirees under the contributory pension scheme over the years. So, without any reservation, we were elated, we were very happy to hear that. And we strongly believe, because we've been following up, that the president is ready to walk his talk over this very matter. And talking about how it can work, yeah, already we have a body that regulates pension matters in Nigeria, the National Pension Commission. And they have been there since the introduction of the CPS, the Contributory Pension Scheme. And they're doing a lot of good jobs for the system. So with them and the kind, or would I say compassionate, president we have in His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are rest assured that the implementation or the success of it will not be in any way thwarted.
It will not be thwarted,
yes,
you believe, because in Nigeria, implementation is key.
Yeah.
It's not just the policy itself or the reforms that are being dished out all the time. Implementation matters a lot. Let me bring in Comrade Felix into this conversation. Now, how soon, if you're aware of the conversation going around the implementation of the new pension scheme by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, pensioners have been asking questions. How will the implementation begin, and what mechanisms are in place, to ensure that it's done right?
Thank you very much. The problem we have in Nigeria is not the leadership, it's the led. Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, in short, he is a lover of pensioners. He loves pensioners so much because it is during this regime I have seen a president approving, because I left government work since 2006 under DBS. No president has ever approved minimum pension to pensioners in this country, except President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's why pensioners all over the country are regarding him as a friend of, the best friend of pensioners, and they're praying for him. Yes, like this 32,000 naira minimum pension. He has approved this money since last year, but implementation is the problem. Not that the man has not approved and released money. He has approved and released money to implement this 32,000 naira increase to pensioners. But the people he appointed are sitting on it. I'm saying it, and anywhere I can stand and say it. So when they say there's no fund to pay to implement the 32,000 and there's no fund to pay the arrears, that arrears has accrued. Some of them owing me 6 months arrears now of this 32,000. There are people, some pensioners that are owing 8 months of 32,000. And this money to pay all these arrears have been released long ago. Who is sitting on all this money? It's not about Mr. President approve. Yes, has good heart for Nigerians, but the problem is in us. He has approved and released money. Why not pay this money? Pay this money to the owners, to the beneficiaries. What is the problem? Where are they going with the Nigerian pensioners' money? Will Mr. President approve and release money 2 times? The one he has approved and released, why can't the petard that is in charge of, I'm not talking of Pencom at this time around, I'm talking of petard that is in charge of DBS pensioners. Why can't she release, or how can she pay this money to the beneficiaries? When are they going to pay it? Okay, now, Mr. President, sometime last week, Wednesday, he approved another money to ensure that everything arrears of pensioners is cleared. We have had that. And we are watching when the arrears will be cleared. Will it be cleared before the end of August, or will it be cleared after August, as they have been delaying? Let all this kind of game they're playing with the pensioners stop. Pensioners are human beings, and whoever that is working in this country must retire one day. What we are praying for someone to retire alive, better for retirement, it is a task. Everybody must retire. If you like, if a civil servant or a government worker alive, let him continue to amend his date of retirement, his or her date of retirement. One day you must leave. So whatever affects somebody, affects me now, affects every other person. Even those that are working, it affects them because they will leave the work and become senior citizens. So please, let people in this country sympathize with pensioners because they have no other livelihood. They rely much on their monthly pension. And if it is not paid, it is a problem. Some of them have families. Their children are schooling. They have one problem or the other to solve with money. And how much is this money, if I may ask? Even though it's not much, but release it to them, it's their money, it's their sweat. So I believe that this time around, something good will happen. We are praying. Because the life of Nigeria is our prayer. Everything we are doing in this country now is prayer. We pray and let God perfect everything for us.
And indeed, prayer works.
It was.
That's why President
It
Bola
was.
to
Those that believe.
Yes, those that
But
believe.
there are people that don't believe that prayer works.
Well, the disbelief comes at least, from previous experiences of pensioners where
Exactly.
promises are made and promises are not kept. And one aspect that, sort of excited me when I read the press release, I'm coming to Comrade Ahmed Ghazali now. One of the exciting parts of the press release is the free healthcare package, and my question has been, how will it be funded and sustained over the long term? Comrade Ahmed?
Yes, precisely the former administration under President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory has constituted a committee to ensure how vulnerable Nigerians and elderly retirees can be able to get free medical care. A committee was chaired by former permanent secretary, Federal Ministry of Health, Linus Awute, And then the current special advisor to the president, Dr. Salma Kolo, was a member of that committee where we sat down. I am also a member, and then Dr. MMM Omakaro and the former Director General of National Pension Commission, a member, and then former Executive Secretary of Pitari were members, where we've done for almost 2 years and submitted a compendium or a report to the former Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Onahenire, for implementation. One of the resolution or one of the concern of the committee or one of the recommendation of the committee was that how is it going to be funded? And then the committee recommended about 7 areas where the money, how the health insurance, free health insurance will be provided to Nigerians. One, we recommended the telecommunication tax, the sin tax, and petroleum income tax. These are the areas we recommended that the federal government should utilize in funding the free medical services to retirees. When I had the information or the approval, Mr. President, for pensioners to benefit from the NHIS or free medical services to retirees, I think it's one of the blessings that can happen to a retiree person. Through this process, we can be able to get quality life for our elderly people, where they can be able to live for a very long period of time. At this moment of their life, it is very difficult to Nigerian pensioners to buy atenolol. Medical doctors know what is atenolol, or the pensioners know atenolol. This is basic drugs that they use for BP drugs, that they always take one tablet to control their blood pressure, and then arthritis, prostrate, all these illness that comes with aging, with retirement. But if Mr. President has ordered, then the political will matters now. The report is there in the Federal Ministry of Health. It's just to dust up, go through the report, bring out, set up a technical committee, bring out a white paper document so that the implementation can commence. A stakeholders forum should be constituted where the NHIS, the National Pension Commission, Federal Ministry of Health, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, representative of Nigerian Union of Pensioners, and the pensioners themselves to come up and then advise Mr. President on how he can source the money so that the implementation commences. The report is there. It doesn't need any work again. It's just the implementation and the funding. This is where the matter is there. And I am sure if Mr. President can give an order to Dr. Salma Anas Kolo, the Senior Special Advisor to the President on health matters, in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Health, so that we can be able to bring out the framework, and the implementation processes will commence maybe by end of this month. If the matching order comes out, then pensioners can start benefiting the free medical care, so that they can take care of their life, take care of our elderly people, make sure that they are protected, they are carried along in the health coverage, for them to live longer. And then the potential workers now will be ensured that at the end of retirement, they can be able to fall back with a free medical services, where they can be able to give a quality work to the federal government and to Nigerian system to work as a nation and as workers in retirement.
Comrade Ahmed Ghazali, I asked you that question because even those people in service that are being covered by the health insurance don't get 100% coverage, like diseases like you mentioned, prostate, cancer, diabetes. At times they go to the hospitals, they don't even have drugs there. They are told to go and buy it outside. So if those in service don't get 100% coverage, do you think coverage for retired pensioners would be accurate?
Well, I sincerely agree that Mr. President's pronouncement may not be a joke. I am sure he is honest and sincere to retirees, and he means that Nigerian pensioners will benefit. They are watching very keenly any attempt to deny them this pronouncement may result in to have some ill feelings among the elderly people in Nigeria. That will signal that there is no sincerity or purpose to take care of our retirees. I so much believe that Mr. President may not just sit down within the presidential pillar without having the political will to implement that of the workers too. I am a young worker working for the retirees. I know that the coverage is not there. Sincerely speaking, it's not there. You cannot go to Nigerian hospitals while you are an NHIA subscriber that you get all the facilities or all the medical care or drugs that will take care of you. But once that report submitted to the Ministry of Health, National Health Insurance Scheme was also represented in that committee. They gave us their expertise, how it can work and how it can be implemented. But the major concern is the funding. And what we recommended was that let us use the telecommunication tax, that each call of 5 minutes in Nigeria will attract 2 kobo. 2 kobo will be deducted and then remit same to NHIS. At June 2028, when we submitted the report, the total bill annual is around 548 or 49 million naira that can be generated annually to take care of the free medical bill to the pensioners and vulnerable Nigerians. If that can be done, there's no any Nigerian that is not making call at least 5 minutes in a day. And then if we were to deduct only 2 kobo out of every 5 minutes call by person, we can be able to do the funding. If Mr. President can give the order to this institution, NCC, NCC can do that, and then pensioners can benefit through the telecommunication income. There's nothing there's no way you will say we cannot get the funding. If you can do funding through TED fund to the tertiary education, we can still apply this. We can adopt this model and give it a trial. And if it didn't work, then we can go for the petroleum tax income, get some revenue from there, and do the funding. We have the capacity to do it and provide this to our very, very senior citizens who have worked tirelessly in making this Nigeria a great nation. If we do this, we are doing disservice to the Nigerian nation.
Indeed. You've raised some pertinent questions too based on that. Now, but we'll come back to the health issue. Now, let's talk about the increase now, 32,000. Do you think it corresponds, Comrade Silva, do you think it corresponds with the current inflationary pressures that we have in Nigeria, removal of subsidy, the high cost of rent, the high cost of food? Although food is coming down now, it's not as high as it used to be too. Are they commensurate?
The fact remains that the major problem we have in this part of the world is that we focus on salary increases, pension increase, while at the same time neglecting social security concerns of Nigerians, or should I say workers in particular. You are a worker and you are earning salary, and you know that the salary you are earning is not commensurate with the inflation rate in the country. Talk less of a pensioner. Now the 32% we are talking about, 32,000 naira, because it's not percentage, it's in monetary value, has not even been paid as we are saying it. And somebody, let's say somebody was receiving 20,000 before the increment, and now has 32,000 to be added to his pensions, will be earning like 52,000. We'll be looking at the 52,000 that is okay. At least it's better than 20,000. Both Nigerian workers and Nigerian retired workers cannot tell all their stories in one day. And I don't see it as the making of the government alone, the making of our leaders alone. All hands should be on deck. I had an experience while I was still in service. A lady came all the way from the US. And from our discussions, I discovered she was a single lady there, having about 2 children. And I asked her, how are you coping up? And she said, life there is not like here. If you have children, the government takes care of them. They even pay some stipends to the account that you don't even have a right to make a withdrawal from there, except with the permission of the child. And now, in the civil service, we have this emolument form you fill, and you are required to state the number of children, the number of dependents, and all that. We borrow those things from the Western world. They know the importance of having children. They know the importance of dependents. But what we receive here is personal emolument. But out of the personal emolument, I will start taking care of myself if I'm a bachelor. I will still be taking care of myself and now my wife when I get married. Think of when the children start coming.
And the extended family too.
The extended family load is there. So for many years, we've not been able to get it very right because of the neglect of the social security aspect. Even the Nigerian labor force that we belong to, I think we should rise up to the occasion by ensuring and working with the government to find out ways to raise the social security scale in this very country. So there's no way anybody, there's no way you can calculate it and you say 32,000 naira pension increment for anybody is commensurate with the inflation in the economy. Not possible. So we need to really find ways to ensure that focus should not just be on the the money we are collecting. But we look at the inflation. We look at other variables that are there to swallow the money once you collect it. So that's the way I look at it.
Okay. Responsibilities,
Yeah.
especially in the African context.
Yeah, personal emolument should be for me.
Yes.
The government should take care of some other aspects. That's what I'm
especially
saying.
the education part of the children. Okay, Comrade Felix, do you think that this is a one-time thing? Will there be regular review or adjustments?
Thank you very much. Like my brother rightly said, salary increase, pension increase, adjustment or harmonization will not even be a problem to Nigerians. It's not a solution to our problem. The solution to our problem is to engage Nigerians into something meaningful. If everybody has something doing, poverty will disappear. But if maybe where we have a population of 100 people, maybe 20 people have something doing, 80 people are jobless, there's a problem. There's a problem. Yes, there is need. This adjustment of pension or salary, whatever it is very important. Why I say it's very important, like this one, the Mr. President just approved, which is 32,000. Like he rightly said, someone that is receiving, a pensioner that is receiving maybe 30,000, then add another 32,000, which is 62. Well, I may say it goes a long way, but it does not solve problem of people. It does not solve any problem. It goes a long way. 62,000 naira, go to the market in Nigeria, go to Nigerian market with 62,000. When you are coming out from that market, you will be accusing yourself. What have I done with this amount of money?
Or somebody cheated you?
Whether people have cheated or you lost the money.
Yes.
Maybe the money, you didn't know when the money just fall down. Yes. You'll be accusing yourself.
I do that at times.
Honestly, you'll be accusing yourself. So it's a problem. In fact, I thank God for the kind of president we have in this country now. If they can allow that man to work, Nigeria will be a better place for all of us. I am saying it anywhere I am. I'm a typical Igbo man, from Imo State. I don't do anything tribalism. It's not in my line. I inherited it from my father. If you are doing the right thing, you become my friend. If you are not doing the right thing, you will not be my friend. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing what people want in this country. I don't know whether anybody can come out to discredit him. That is the person's business. But all I know that he is doing the right thing. He loves Nigerian people. He loves his country. He wants people to live a better life. What he has done under a space of 2 years and the people that have started Nigeria as a president of this country for 8 years have not done it. They have not done it. And if this man will be allowed to have second term again, Nigeria will be a better place. Yes, I'm not campaigning for him, but this is my own personal opinion. Nigeria will be a better place. So, yes, the way he's going, there will be another adjustment. There will be another. I'm not a prophet, but there will be another adjustment. Maybe in the next, before 2027 will elapse, there must be another. He has said it. He says salary increase now or pension increase will not be for 4 years again. It will be 3 years. He announced it.
Just like salary inauguration. Yes. Just like the salary.
Yes, it's 3 years now. So 3 years of it will be 2027, which I believe he must increase. Yeah, he is even preparing for that. I'm not working with him in Villa.
You're not working. So, like I said earlier, we have reports to push this conversation further. Let's take this report from Lagos.
Okay.
The administration of President Bola Tinubu has continued to demonstrate a forward-thinking approach in its quest to deliver good governance and promote the welfare of citizens. This commitment is reflected in its policies and programs, including the new tax regime, pension reforms, and other social interventions to improve the welfare of Nigerian workers, particularly retirees. The president directed the expedited rollout of a free healthcare access initiative for low-income retirees under the contributory pension scheme, a critical social protection measure.
For us, it was a dream come true. Over 30 years of advocacy campaigns, disconnects and connections, this has come to play. We only pray and hope that the appropriate authorities will ensure that all the pensioners who are entitled to these increases get it as at when due.
In August 2025, President Tinubu further called for the prompt implementation of long overdue pension increases and the introduction of a minimum pension guarantee alongside other welfare packages aimed at providing safety nets for the most vulnerable pensioners under the defined benefit scheme. Policy and public affairs analyst speaks on other areas of intervention that government can provide for pensioners.
They can provide housing where retirees, pensioners can have, affordable housing for themselves, and they also be able to take some relief in terms of the education of their children.
For pensioners, this provides the long-awaited breath of relief, easing the financial and health burdens many have faced in retirement.
I thank Mr. President for remembering us.
Many of us are happy. Me, I'm happy. But there's one thing with Nigeria is that we make policies, we don't implement it.
Some of the pensioners are, however, appealing to government for speedy implementation of their benefits.
I'm dying of hunger. My in-law that used to take me dry since June, he has not been buried. No money for me to eat. And they say, I'm collecting pension. Where is the money?
The rate at which Nigerian pensioners are dying every day is becoming alarming. For example, in my own chapter now, I have 3 casualties in the hospital.
Let President himself set up a committee to make sure that the new care is duly followed up.
As government continues to roll out intervention schemes to improve the lives of Nigerians, these measures reinforce the promise of the renewed hope agenda, making the hope of the common man not just a slogan, but a reality in the daily lives of citizens.
And the next report is from Enugu.
The pension reforms in Nigeria, governed by the Pension Reform Act 2014, have significant implications for the welfare and social security of retirees. The contributory pension scheme, regulated by the National Pension Commission, aims to ensure financial security for retirees while contributing to national development. Unlike the old pension scheme, which was characterized by delays as a result of funding issues, mismanagement of funds, and diversion, the new pension reforms aim to address long-standing issues with pension payments, improve financial security for retirees, and ensure updated benefits in line with current economic realities. Key players say the new pension reforms will, among other things, ensure improved quality of life, enhance standard of living of retirees, as well as reduce financial burden on government.
The action of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is quite commendable because it's what the pensioners have actually been agitating for a very long time.
It is a step forward for the country, for the government, and for retirees. Over the years, the pension reforms were rather slow at coming. And at a retired age, retirees die so fast that the delays that are suffered has actually not have deprived some people of having enjoyed that benefit. But like I said, the reform is a step forward. Our only prayer is that the benefits go across the board.
A significant challenge of the new pension reforms lies in expanding coverage to Nigeria's large informal sector. There is also the need to address accrued rights for public sector employees and ensuring benefits adequacy, as well as encouraging pension fund administrators to diversify investments into productive assets, such as infrastructure.
It's going to have more income to the pensioners, which is what everybody wants. And when you have more income, you have more disposable income, you can also invest, you can also save, and you can also have an improved standard of living. Because there's nothing as good as having a good and improved standard of living as a pensioner.
At least 75% of the savings account of the pensioner should be given to him on retirement. Because what we are experiencing now is that after about 10, 15 years, they tell you that your contributory pension amount is exhausted, and the pension, we are afraid that it will stop.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive for immediate implementation of the pension increases and expedited rollout of free healthcare access initiative for low-income retirees has been described as a critical component of social protection and dignity in retirement.
I pray that government will continue to reform the pension package to be able to overcome this exploitative nature of pension administrators.
It is the view of many that the new pension reforms be incorporated into the Pension Reform Act. In Enugu, Chidi Okrafo.
Thank you so much, Chidi, for that report. Let's now go to Ahmed Ghazali to respond to this particular report and what the respondent was able to say. People not collecting, their whole pension, and then at the end of 15 years, if you tend to live longer, you end up not having anything. How can we address that? As Nigeria's global rating in pension is very low compared to Denmark, Netherlands, India, and other countries. So what lessons can we learn from these countries who are performing well for their senior citizens?
Okay, my dear sister Juma, let's put this conversation in this perspective. One, our discussion now centered on the federal pensioners and parastatals. Let us narrow down the conversation to state and local government pensioners. To be honest with you, let me express the feelings of entire Nigerian pensioners. Entire Nigerian pensioners are not happy with Nigeria. Many have regretted why did they even work for Nigeria. You have seen recently a police officer complaining about low pension payment at the end of 35 years of service. As I'm talking to you right now, the low minimum pension across the country, majority states in Nigeria are receiving 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 pension payment to their pensioners. How do we expect an elderly person at the age of 70,000 naira, you pay him 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira, and 80% of the states are not implementing these pension increases. This pension increase is a right, it's a constitutional matter. The Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 173, subsection 210, is very clear that pension shall be reviewed after every 5 years, or whenever workers' salaries are increased, pensioners should benefit. But majority of the state pensioners and local government pensioners are there not to benefit in any of this increment. That endangered the life of Nigerian pensioners. Thank God the federal government has been able to do its best to bring the payment of pension to a certain level, but is worst in the state and local government pensioners, which leads to untimely death of Nigerian pensioners. They were dejected from their homes. They cannot be able to pay medical bill. They cannot be able to take care of their children at retirement. They cannot be able to take care of the basic social security of their lives. Then what lessons are we giving to the younger workers? Then on the issue of low pension under the contributory pension, the reason why there's a lot of cry in the land is that this idea of contributory pension was mooted from Chile under President Olusegun Obasanjo, that the pension administration under the defined benefits wasn't funded. There was not enough funding to cater for the lives of pensioners. Then this contributory pension idea was borrowed so that employer-employee can do the funding. But as far as salaries are low, Nigerian pensioners will continue to receive low pension at retirement. Let me give an example from myself. My contribution into my RSA account is around 9 million now. And if I decided to retire at the age of 60, I am, by the law, if I am to join the program withdrawal, I am to go with 25% of the total contribution in my RSA account. That would be around 1.8 or thereabout. That 1.8 is my gratuity, is the lump sum that I will as my retirement benefit. Then the remaining balance will be divided into about 242 months. That's about 20 years. Then I will be receiving pension at age of retirement around 24 to 30,000 naira. If this is the inflation at this moment is around 5%, reaching 15%, how do you expect I will live with 30,000 naira at the age of 60? So there must be a way for federal government to increase the employer contribution. Then these issues of salary increment it doesn't need any follow-up. It should be timely so that the life of a retiree will be enhanced. Once if this thing will not be corrected, the gates of Federal Ministry of Finance, the National Assembly will be continued to be locked up, and the Office of the Accountant General will be continued to be locked up, and there will be massive embarrassment by pensioners across the country. That portrays bad danger to the nation, because any nation that did not take care of its elderly people in terms of livelihood, in terms of healthcare, in terms of basic social security, that nation bound to fail. Therefore, I encourage a pensioner, the least pensioner in Singapore is receiving around $1,680 every month for his pension, which a permanent secretary cannot get. And then one of the major obstacles for these contributory pensioners, and the reason why there is massive demand for pull-out, is that when the idea was introduced, the head of services and permanent secretaries exempted themselves from the scheme and allowed from the director of CADA to be part of the contributory pension, while they allow themselves to be under the defined benefit pension scheme. They knew all the atrocities in the defined benefit pension scheme. They knew the implication that pension payments is low and it cannot take care of their lives at retirement. But at the level of director to the security man or to the last man are placed under the CPS. And then I see no reason why, if people will, at the level of permanent secretary will pull, then why will you now leave the messenger or the security man or ordinary director to be under the CPS? If they wanted all of us, let us all go back to, you cannot put one of your leg in defined benefit scheme, one in the CPS. So let the permanent secretary also come back and feel what the pensioners from the lower cadre are enjoying. The chairman of contributory pensioners is there. He knew that majority of pensioners under the contributory pensioners are not completely happy with the scheme. If you will give them the opportunity, they will decide to pull out of the scheme. But the problem is that once we pull out now, where are we going to? Yes, indeed, there are issues, there are complaints, there are challenges. Let's sit down and then bring some policy changes, bring so many innovations into the scheme so that the lives of these pensioners under the CPS can be enhanced, and then this issue of pension increases. The reason why the Nigerian Constitution says that pension should be increased after every 5 years is to upgrade the monthly payment. Once these increments are being added to pensioners' monthly pension, that issue of low pension will not be in sight. Therefore, I encourage that there should be a reform. There should be
Okay, Ahmed Ghazali, it's like we've, the Zoom is frozen. We'll return to you for you to finish your submission. Now, Comrade Silva, this is a scary picture he has painted for Nigerian pensioners. And are you of the school of thought also that the pension scheme that we are under now should be reviewed?
Why not? And that's what the Act provides. And even the Nigerian Constitution provides for that. But just like he has said, there are circumstances that led to the introduction of the CPS, the Contributory Pension Scheme. I watched the reports. Is it from Lagos or Enugu?
Enugu.
They mentioned some of the reasons why the federal government now decided to go for contributory pension scheme. It became very obvious that the federal government could no longer handle the issues of pension under the old defined benefit scheme.
100%.
100%. And this is subject to annual budgetary allocations. But under the contributory pension scheme, which is contributory, with the employer and the employee contributing, there is certainty that as you are leaving office, your contribution will be there and that your pension will be paid.
But not as a whole.
Not as a whole. And not as a whole because what you have been saving for is already branded, it's known. It is called what? Retirement Savings Account, RSA. It's not like any other savings. You can save in the bank, you walk to your bank and say, I want to withdraw the whole money. You fill the papers and have your money. But what you are saving for is for your retirement. And remember, you are not the only one saving. The employer is also saving. And now, there used to be what is called gratuity, which is a additional benefit to a retiree. It's just like a parting gift, a thank you gift for a job well done. Tactically, this was removed from the contributory pension. Tell me why anybody should be bothering about withdrawing up to 75% of his total savings.
But did the union raise alarm when they noticed that it was removed?
The 75%.
Yes,
no,
yes.
What I mean is these individuals,
okay,
maybe at retirement, like somebody said there in the report that they should allow them to withdraw up to 75%. I am saying there won't be any clamoring for the percentage to withdraw if gratuity had been there. Because what we call lump sum now, what we have taken it for, is to replace gratuity. And that's why there is no way we can get it right. There's that necessity that federal government should restore gratuity in the CPS. And they were happy that the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation is already doing this line. And thank God it's happening at this time. We have a listening and concerned leadership. Okay? So this is what is happening. Now, you have, like he gave example, 9 million. If you remove 50% of 9 million, you have 4.5 million left. And by the time that 4.5 million is spread for the payment of your pensions, you see the pension will drop. It cannot be the same with the one who put out only 25% or 20%. But there's pressure on lump sum, or the percentage of lump sum for anybody to withdraw because of the removal of gratuity. And there's no reasonable government that will allow you to remove all your savings for retirement in the name of lump sum because you want to meet up, you want to start business, you want to business. We have been in the office for how many years? 30, 35 years. Doing civil service work, not business. Many that tried going into business have since returned back and depending on the same pension. It will be better for us that something happens, like the restoration of gratuity, that will now take the pressure away from lump sum. So that you see individuals who will say, don't even remove anything, leave everything there, because he has his gratuity. Now, when the contributory pension scheme started, all Nigerian workers agreed, because the reasons were there for everybody to. Nigerian workers are represented by their head of organizations and the labor leaders. We all agreed. And when I say all, I mean both the military, the DSS, the police, everyone. But all of a sudden, a window for exemption was now open for some group of people.
For the top brass.
Now the top brass too, who we will even say mooted the idea of the CPS to the federal government, are now pulling out. They are not even collecting 80%, but they are collecting 100% of their last salary while in service. Which law provides for that? There's no law. And what they will be telling you is that these top brass here we are mentioning are no longer government workers, but politicians. So the problem is the implementation and being honest. Now the military has pulled out of the CPS. Are they resting? Are they happy? Have we not seen the military protesting? So if all is well. Now those under DBS should be very, very happy. But are they happy? Here somebody is narrating that since the approval, some have just gotten 1 month. Some are yet to be paid. What is the issue? It's all about money. I don't even believe that federal government has released the money. And any executive secretary or DG will sit on it. That is not possible in the system. But they are ready to take all the banters, all the allegations, all the accusations, because the only solution is funding. Where government funding priority is low, people will continue to complain.
Indeed, people will continue to complain, and now we're at an intersection, halftime of the program already. Okay. How time flies. And if you're just joining us, this is NTA Tuesday Live. We've been discussing Social Security, pension increases, and welfare. We'll be back after this break. And don't forget, when you call us after this break, please tone down the audio of your TV and be specific in your questions. Be right back.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, with undying deeper, we make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Each ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthening in unity, we know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The federal government of Nigeria wants vandals of national assets, electricity transmission towers, cables, and other facilities to desist from this act of sabotage. Vandalism is a serious crime punishable under the law. Vandalizing electrical equipment will affect millions of Nigerians, including your loved ones. Remember that national assets belong to all of us, hence the need to protect them. Report all cases of suspicious movement around electrical facilities to security agencies. When you see something, say something. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation in collaboration with the National Counter-Terrorism Center, NCTC, Office of the National Security Advisor.
Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
And our focus today is on social security, pension increases, and welfare. And my guests here in the studio have been making justice to the topic. Now, let me come to you, Comrade Felix. Comrade Silva made a mention that it is in the Constitution. Recently, we've had constitutional review going around the country and all that. Has this been on the table at the constitutional review? Are you part of the constitutional review? Has these issues been tabled there for consideration as part of the constitutional review?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Why is that?
I don't believe.
Because there are a lot of concerns.
Because if something like that is going on, by right, we are the stakeholders, we are the pensioners. We need to be carried along because we are the one to educate, to let people know what is happening in this country. If there's any, is that a review? You call it review?
Constitutional amendment.
Constitutional amendment. If there's something like a constitutional amendment, I think, I know pensioners in this country are being neglected from the beginning. So when such a thing is going on, they may not even bother to extend it to anybody that calls himself a pensioner.
But it is a right.
It's our right. But one's right can be denied. As far as Nigeria is concerned, your right can be denied. It has been happening.
Always.
Okay.
Yes. As it is, when I was talking, I mentioned that Nigerian workers were represented by their head of organizations and labor leaders. So often, these things are done by representation. If the Nigerian Union of Pensioners, who is the umbrella union of all Nigerian pensioners, approved by the federal government to organize, to unionize all Nigerian pensioners, is invited to be part of that review. or invited to make submissions, because submissions will be made to the National Assembly. They don't just go ahead to do it on their own. Okay? So we may not know until Comrade Ghazali mentioned here that he was part of the committee on NAIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme. Not many people know, except those of us who are very close to him. You understand? So I don't want to agree that we are not carried along.
Okay, you don't want to agree.
Yes.
Before the phone calls start coming in, we have some tweets that were sent, has been sent by Nigerians that want to contribute to this conversation. Let me take the first tweet. Ibrahim Fura, he said, how will pension increase help low-income retirees cope with the rising cost of food, transport, and rent in Nigeria? And Benga Boy said, the only people that are entitled to being served by Nigerians are politicians. Unless the population of citizens outweighs slaves in the nearest future, for now, it is 5% to 95%. And Jade David said, what safeguards should be in place to ensure the benefits reach the most vulnerable retirees? And Obasi Prek 46819 said, what funding models could make both pension increase and free healthcare sustainable over the next 20 years? These are tweets that came in. I don't know if Comrade Ghazali is on. Is he back? Okay. So can you respond to some of these tweets that just came in here?
Yeah, you took so many of them together.
Yes,
the first one said,
how will pension increases help low-income retirees cope with the rising cost of food, transport, and rent in Nigeria? We talked about it.
It's good. It's a confirmation of what I have said earlier.
Yes.
There's need for pension increases and reviews, okay? But along the line, we should also be talking about the social securities to guide those increments. Otherwise, the salaries will rise in figure, not in value. The pensions will rise in figure, not in value. It is from the salary you pay school fees, from the salary you pay for your health care, it's from the salary you maintain your aged parents, for those that still have their aged parents. And so many other responsibilities that could be taken care of by the government. I think this is where our focus should be going to. And look at that tweet. How will this increase help a low-income earner? Honestly, I think some years back, let me see, in the 80s, if not 90s, Professor Wole Soyinka, I read in one of the newspapers there that he was wondering how Nigerian workers are managing to cope with the poor salary they are receiving. And he had this conclusion that it is either they are magicians or they are thieves. Either they are stealing somewhere, that it is not that salary they are living on. And can we say we are magicians or we are thieves? The thing is that many of us are living by grace. I spoke with somebody who had just retired, who visited me in the office. He's a retired ambassador from Foreign Affairs. And we are talking. We say we already shortchanged. We have been sabotaged by the people who are supposed to speak for us. For instance, when the military was pulling out, they pulled out with all their ranks and file. The DSS did that, but others, other public service organizations and the civil servant, they are there. They have pulled themselves out, leaving only directors below. As if we have committed a crime. Will anybody be wrong for taking the federal government to court for violating the 2004 Pension Reform Act? Because we all agreed. I know that in most parts of the world, In fact, in all parts of the world where CPS is being practiced, the military is exempted. But what is the agitation now? Because that was not taken care of initially. By the time you want to remove them, you should make this known to the same people you signed agreement with. So the knowledge gap again, this knowledge deficit is what is causing part of the problem. The military want to, the police want to pull out. Of course, the army is carrying gun and carrying gun. We do almost the same work, and you have exempted them. I too want to go. Will you blame them? And as the police is going, the paramilitary will want to go. So this overruling or not being transparent with the rules, with the regulations of the scheme is what is causing problem in this very country, honestly. And civil servants, civil servants don't, Nigerian civil servants in particular, Nigerian workers, I want to say, will not think of pension until the day they retire from it.
Exactly.
Even some are contributing. They don't even know what they are contributing. It is when they retire. Some don't even know what is called lump sum. They will think it's just gratuity. They don't know that gratuity has been taken away. So we are now shouting as pensioners. Those of you who are still in the offices should join us in this very struggle, this fight, so that federal government will do the right thing. And I believe the federal government is ready to do the right thing if they have the right support and the direction.
That's why we're having this program now, so that Nigerians would know.
We are happy with
you. Yes, and Comrade Felix, J. David said, what safeguards should be in place to ensure the benefits reach the most vulnerable retirees?
Well, I don't know. The country we are, I think there's no sincerity in the lives of people in this country, especially those that are in the hands of affairs in this country. If Nigerians will be sincere enough to follow things the way it is, if they be sincere enough to follow things the way it is, or do things the way it's supposed to be done, there'll be no grudges for Nigerian people. But when things are not being done the way it's supposed to be done, it is then you see people murmuring, grudging, and all others. So,
yeah, I'm listening.
So, Nigerians being what they are, for things to go rightly in this country without being tampered, because there are people that don't want things to go rightly, proper things to be done in this country. There are a lot of Nigerians.
Okay.
They don't want it.
Okay, Obasi said, what funding models could make both pension increases and free healthcare sustainable for the next 20 years?
Yeah, if I'm to come in there, I will want to say, like it's popularly said, there's no free food anywhere, even in Freetown. Let me take NHIS, NAIS, the National Health Insurance Scheme, which was established by Decree 35, I think I correct, Decree 35 of 1999. What are the objectives? The scheme is supposed to fund itself and its administration.
It's supposed to fund itself?
Fund itself and its administration. So you see the NHIA now, as it's being called, the National Health Insurance Authority. All the staff under them have to be paid from the proceeds of the scheme.
Okay.
They are self-funded organization. We started, I want to remember, in 2016 or 2017, And we invited the management of National Health Insurance Scheme to our Congress. Come and explain that when we were in service, when we were younger, we were given an enhanced medical opportunity. But now that we are old, that we even need
it more,
you remove us from. It was from then we now realized that this thing is IPPIS driven. You know, IPPIS is an integrated personnel payment information system. So by that narrative, you see that the focus was only on the active workers. Because the very moment you leave office today, automatically you will exit from IPPIS.
Yes.
So there is no provision for that. Whereas
and your salary is stopped immediately?
Immediately, the same day. And once salary stops, and you are named out of the payment system, everything about you, so you have to wait there. Thank God that NUPCPS, the union that by God's grace today I represent, has done a lot for Nigerian retirees. Because for many years, nobody was talking. Pencon was just suffering in silence, and everybody was pointing accusing fingers to Pencon. Whereas they were not given the right instruments to work with. But since the union came up and we discovered what happened, and we went out on the street to call the attention of government, can you believe that the first time we had meeting with the then Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Dogara, he told us that he's not sure that Mr. President knows our plights. So even the government did not even know that outside DBS, there's another branch called CPS.
Okay, I have to pause you now. Phone calls have started, phones have started ringing. We have Umar Anache from Birnin Kebbi. Umar Anache, if you can hear me, you can go ahead. Umar Anache, you can go ahead.
Yes. I'm calling. Good evening to the discussant there. And I'm advocating, based on your explanation, totally I'm not comfortable with contributory pension scheme. I'm a worker now. I'm a federal worker, but I'm not comfortable with your explanation with contributory pension scheme. I'm advocating they should abolish contributory pension scheme. One is the program withdrawal. It's a problem that you will not withdraw more than 50% of your contributory something, even though there is contribution from your employer. But what happened to the 50% contribution? Then secondly, the withdrawal, they say it should not be more than 70 years of age. You see, that withdrawal, that the life estimate is, it should not be more than 70 years of age. What if the person is more than 70 years of age? What would happen to him? Is it that he should go and die simply because the program is limited him to 70 years of age? Then the other issue is all the increases. There is increase of minimum wage to 18 naira minimum wage, to 30,000 naira minimum wage, now to 70,000 naira minimum wage. All these increases is not reflected and will not reflect to contributory pension scheme. So I'm advocating it should be abolished. May God continue to bless our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Umar Anache.
It has reflected this time now.
Yes.
Yeah. So like I was saying,
Yes.
talking about the National Health Insurance Scheme, funding should not just be focused from their side. When I say outside, it's outside the beneficiaries.
Okay.
Pensioners will not complain. For instance, when I said we invited the National Health Insurance Authority, they dropped on the table different packages of health care that even those of us that have retired could access and still be enjoying the same services we enjoy while in service. And the one they presented that people bought into was about 15,000 then. But soon after they discovered that even that 15,000 was not enough. We are talking of vulnerable Nigerians. And by the time you go for any of the operations that will cost hundreds, and you have it 2, 3, 4 people in different places, the whole money is gone. Because the system is such that the healthy is the one paying for the sick. Because if you are healthy, even though they are deducting money from your salary for national health, do you need to go to hospital?
But one thing I've noticed is on your payslip, you never know how much is taken for health insurance. It does not reflect.
Is that your experience now?
It does not reflect.
So in our own
it does
time.
not reflect in your payslip.
So
it's
your duty to rise up and find out why.
For the health
so you
insurance.
need to know. You need to know what really is happening. So the advocacy for the abolition of contributory pension.
Okay.
Ahmed
Al-Ghazali raised a point about states. Now, with this pronouncement by the federal government, reforms on the pensioners, how will state pensioners be included, or is it just limited to federal retirees? Do you have any knowledge about that?
Once there's an increment, it is done, the negotiation is done between the federal government and the state government before you now agree on a ceiling. There are some states that even pay more than what federal government is paying. Lagos State and some others pay higher. And there are some states that we never implement. And that's why, like he said, like Ghazali said, some are still earning 2,000 naira in a month. And why is it so? You can imagine somebody who retired from service maybe in 1980-81, when the naira had value. Maybe we are collecting 400, 500 naira per month. And it was a lot of money then. Now, after retirement, through increments, maybe it has gotten to 2,000. 2,000.
I asked this question because there have been situations where state governments take from the federal government pension.
State government?
Yes, borrow as loan from the pensions.
I wish the regulator is here to answer this question. But then, the Pension Reform Act is open for everybody to read.
Okay.
And you will find out that yes, okay.
Because one of our guests, Jide Ojo, development consultant and public affairs analyst, has joined this conversation. Mr. Jide, you're welcome to Tuesday Live.
Good evening. Should I say good morning?
Well, I want to know your reaction when this press release was released, because I've been seeing your write-up, in the Punch newspaper on so many issues. I want to get your reaction, and how do you think this is going to roll out, and how do you think retirees would benefit fully from this reform in the pension scheme?
Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, I think it's a welcome development, like everyone who has commented on this issue has done in the last 1.5 hours. It's a welcome development, and I think the policy is well intended, but as the elders in the studio have said, it's implementation that has always been very sticky. I've followed through and written a number of opinion in my column in The Punch about this issue of what led to the jettisoning of the old pension scheme and then the introduction of the contributory pension scheme in 2004. It was because the initial system was bad. My father retired after meritorious service as a teacher and never got his pension and gratuity until he died 3 years after. And it was thought by President Obasanjo that a contributory pension scheme was going to solve some of the problems that pensioners go through. But unfortunately, implementation has also dogged this old challenge. And let me tell you one thing, Juma, what all of the major challenges we have with pension scheme in Nigeria has brought about is lack of, in fact, let me put it mildly, corruption in public service. Because it starts with people doctoring their age, doing false age declaration so that they will not retire early. And there are those who also will seize opportunity to feather their nest through sharp practices and malpractices to cater for their old age. Because I wish I were, maybe I would have been inclined to this negative aspect if I were to be a government worker. Because when I listen, I followed through almost 1.5 hours of this debate, and I'm close to shedding tears. 32,000 increase, you are not even sure when it will get paid. We are talking of health insurance or health benefit for the lowest retirees. And how do you determine the low income retirees? What would be the measure? Is it those who are receiving less than minimum wage of 70,000, or those who are receiving up to 100,000 or less than 100,000? It's all very beautifully packaged, but implementation has been the major challenge. And I wish we can borrow leave, because I recall Obasanjo sent people abroad to learn from best practices, global best practices. And I think, if my memory serves me right, was Fole Abiola, the owner of GT Bank, was one of those who went and looked at what obtains elsewhere. And it was started as being the best thing to happen to Nigerian workers, the contributory pension scheme. But what do we have? You have a number of states that are not paying their own 7.5% or whatever is supposed to be paid. They are not remitting what they are supposed to remit to PENCOM. The private sector is also grossly abusing the system. Many of their workers, they are not paying the contributory pension. So while this conversation has been focusing more on workers in public service, and particularly federal workers, I think one of the elders, comrade in the studio, talked about the situation being worse at the subnationals, the local government, the state government, and the private sector. Many of them are not doing the right thing. Unfortunately, to even enforce this has been an issue. You go to court, how fast can the court deliver judgment in the event of you approaching court? Maybe you go to industrial court. I don't know whether anybody can go to industrial court to say, look, my rights have been denied me. But imagine somebody, a pensioner who is a senior citizen, and given the scenario of what many of us are going through, by the time you are 60, 65, you can't multitask as you used to do. Your productive life has been spent in public service. And then where is the money to pursue, to hire lawyers to go and pursue your case?
Okay, Jide Ojo, can I pause you for a while? We have a call, Booker from Abuja here. I will return to you so that you can make comments on some of the issues that you've raised. Booker, you can go ahead. Please tone down the audio of your TV.
Yeah, can I come in?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, very good morning, my sister Jumai, and the excellent presenters who are there, Comrade Sylvester and Comrade Alex, and my good brother Ghazali, who is at home. My name is once again Dr. Bukar Abba Mafoni, what my degree MON calling from the Federal Capital Territory FCT. This program is not only educative, but it's a program of national unity. I have participated in this program before during the local content, and I have also participated during the NNPC, that is PIA, development of the host communities. I also contributed during the remembrance of the armed forces, that's January. Today's program is a life-touching. I have to say that the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, God bless him. This is the first president that has the feeling and then the heart and the mind for all Nigeria, being the first president to enact a way that there will be a first step forward in the betterment of the life of the retirees. First and foremost, before I started contributing, I want all of you to remember that those who died without collecting their benefit, may their soul rest in peace. Then secondly, the major problem with this program from my X-ray, since you started, I have been monitoring, I have been following you up. It's not only the policy, it's not only the implementation, but the issue is that of sustainability. And the sustainability of this better life for the retirees has to do with the problem of corruption. Nobody is talking about corruption. All we are talking, only one person talking more. So if the retired life is better, those who are serving cannot be engaged in the act of corruption. And secondly, if the life of the retirees is a role model for those who are serving, then each and every civil servant, whether it is international serving staff of Nigeria, whether it is national, whether it is state or local government, or even the private sector, all will gear up towards ensuring that they contributed their best and free themselves from anything called corruption. So first and foremost, I want to thank the President and the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Thank you very much, sir, for helping all Nigerian retirees. Then secondly, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Sir Kashim Shettima, GCON, who is supporting the President day and night. We appreciate you. Now, what is the best way to sustain this increment and the better life for the retirees? The problem is the health. If you address the health of the retirees, you have solved 80% of their problem. So how do we solve the problem of the health? The coordinating minister of the health, His Excellency Sir Muhammad Ali Fati, Professor, is one of the best ministers of this country. So let us bring what our brother Ghazali is saying. There is something on the table about the healthcare of the retirees. Bring it forward under presidential task force. There should be task force. Serious ministers like Yesoweke of the FCT should be the chairman of the task force for the implementation of the presidential program and schemes for the retirees. Now, where are the funds coming for the healthcare? One, you say communication. Okay, let's say every 10 minutes of call, at least 10 kobo should be contributed to the healthcare of the retirees. Not only the federal, not only the ministry, not only the department or agencies, no, including the state and local government. How do you know? Let us have the database for all the retirees. No database yet. I don't think even Gali can tell me now how many people are retired in Nigeria, whether in the federal, state, or local government. He cannot tell me. Okay, let us establish the database for all the retirees.
Dr. Bukar.
Free healthcare, free railway transportation, and above all, let them also have 50% discount for every airline that they can board. Yes, okay. They should enjoy free education for themselves.
Okay, I love your passion, and I love the pertinent questions you've raised. Our guests here in the studios are nodding their head and sort of agreeing with what you said. Thank you so much for your contribution. I will still return to Jide Ojo on this issue, the big elephant in the room, that is corruption, which has been eating deep into the fiber of our nation itself. If pensioners, when you retire, I'm not supporting anybody stealing government money, but how can we prevent it, and how can we, aid the anti-corruption drive of the federal government?
The truth is, you need to take care of people both in and out of service. It breaks my heart when I see pensioners marching on the street, demanding as a matter of right what should be a right, not a privilege. The other day, was it 2 weeks ago, we saw the Nigerian police, retired police officers on the streets of Abuja.
Yeah.
In time past, we used to see the soldiers, the army pensioners under the bridge and all of that. That's not the kind of senior citizens we want to bequeath to the incoming generation. That's why, you see, you can make all the laws, you can pass all the draconian legislation against corruption. What I will always find is level. There is environment that makes that corruption possible. You need to remove it. And how can you remove it? By ensuring that people's rights are not denied them, particularly when they are most vulnerable. Because the moment you are 60 years, I had my elder in the studio, I think my senior brother who contributed virtually, talking about, the drugs that elderly people need to buy for blood pressure, diabetes, arthritis, and all of that. And I mean, you need it more as a senior citizen than when you are youth. And if at the age of 60, many people still have to cater for their children and grandchildren because of the economic situation, you can see that it's a serious dilemma that only a very staunch, religious, saintly person will shun corruption. So the environment that promotes corruption is what we need to remove. We need to call to order those governors who are breaching the Pension Act, because it's worse at the state level and the local government level. It's worse. My father was a victim. He taught for 35 years, retired, hoping that his entitlements will be paid as when due, but he never got it. Even after his death, we never got any gratuity. I think we managed to get 100,000 thereabout from his pension. It's so annoying. And when younger elements that are being recruited in public service sees what their seniors, the retired seniors, go through, definitely they want to help themselves ahead of their retirement. And like I said, many people doctor their documents, falsify their age. Some will go and alter the time they enter service, all because they want to stay some 5-10 years more before they retire. Now, the advocacy is that many people are now saying, let us retire at 70, let us retire at 65, because they are afraid of the fate that will befall them once they retire. Because you are going to be receiving a fraction of what you used to get, in your old age. And that's when you are most vulnerable. And it used to be that before 60, you will have had children who can take care of you in old age, but not anymore. Many youth are now graduating without jobs. Many are doing many jobs. They cannot even fend for themselves, let alone taking care of their grandmas and grandpas. So the situation is very gloomy, but it's not an hopeless situation. All we need to do is to follow the law. The president has endorsed this initiative. When can we start to see implementation? The governors who are breaching the law, can we have them cautioned, or can people engage in public interest litigation? I'm happy the comrade from the National Union of Pensioners is there. If you need to engage service of lawyers to enforce some of these rights, they are not privileges, they are rights. And it takes years before some of these things are implemented. That's why nobody seems to be taking government seriously. One thing is to jubilate and laud government policies on even the minimum wage. How many states have the 7,000 minimum wage that have been approved since June or July 2024? Some states are yet to pay the 70,000. Some local governments have not even dared to pay. And this is very disheartening. This is what promotes corruption, sharp practices, malpractices in the public service, and even in the private sector. Because like I said, some private sector are even worse off. They casualize, they don't even have pension, they are not doing contributory or any pension scheme. And that is why, you know, a lot of people just engage in all these sharp practices and malpractices in order to fend for themselves. So we need to apply the rule of law. We need to engage in due process. We need to ensure that, you know, those who breach the law are sanctioned. They are punished. The senior comrade in the studio was saying that the money meant for the payment of some of these pension arrears and liabilities have been approved, but somebody is sitting on it. Why should that person be allowed to stay a day longer on his or her job if truly the assertion he made is true? So we need to follow due process. We need to sanction those who erred, those who are, I mean, we have heard stories of people going to lodge money meant for payment of some of this in a fixed deposit in order to generate interest which they will pocket for themselves before they make the payment. All of this kind of thing is corrupt practices which should not be condoned.
Okay, Mr. Jide, thank you so much for your submission on that topic. Indeed, corruption needs to be eradicated from the workplace itself so that it will not reflect on the retirees. I can see that Ahmed Ghazali is back. Ahmed Ghazali, we're rounding up this conversation. I'm sorry your Zoom network went off. I would like you to, in just 2 minutes, can you tell us what complementary reforms would make this particular initiative more impactful for retirees in Nigeria? In 2 minutes, please.
Well, I think
yeah, it has frozen again. Let me throw this question to Comrade Silva. What other reforms can make this particular initiative impactful? Because Jide Ojo have raised a lot of pertinent questions.
The reforms we have already are enough.
Okay.
And can make very serious impact on the system.
Okay, I'll pause you there. Ahmed, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
The policies are there. The bottleneck is the implementation. Okay. I can see no reason why a governor will wake up and say that they cannot be able to implement pension increment. Pension increment is a right. And when these governors are assuming to office, they have taken an oath of office to serve the interests of all the existing people in each of the states. Therefore, I call on all the governors, with the exception of governors of Jigawa, governors of Kano, governors of Lagos, and few others in the south who are doing very well, and including the governor of Niger. But let me put it this way, that I appeal to them that the issue of increment of pension should be a topmost priority of each and every governor if they want to get a better retirement after serving as a governor. And then let me also put a sounding warning on an issue of back-end computation exercise being embarked by PITAD. That policy is obnoxious. It should be stopped. I call on President Tinubu to stop that back-end computation by cutting pensioners' money or reducing pensioners' money is unacceptable. And then let me correct an impression. I am fully involved and deeply involved on this issue of 32,000 pension increment. The 32,000 pension, by the time Mr. President has approved the implementation of the approval of 32,000 pension increment, budget process have been closed. So there was no any budgetary allocation in the matter. The funds were not allocated. I can see no reason why anybody will sit on that money. It is not captured in the 2025 budget, and I have seen it clearly when I have some conversation with some key officers at PITAD who confirmed to me that the issue of 32,000 pension increment has been captured in 2026. And there are some agencies who were excluded. 7 defunct agencies of NITEL, PFCN, NICOM Insurance were excluded from benefiting the 32,000 pension increase. Therefore, I call on National Salaries and Wages Commission without wasting of time to bring back this issue another statement or a circular that will capture this pensioner. So therefore, the issue of 32,000 with the matching order by Mr. President, I am sure these funds will be made available to PITAD by end of August to implement the 32,000 pension increment, and then the areas of outstanding areas of 6 to 9 months, some 6, some 9, amounting to close to about 70 billion naira can be released to PITAD so that full payment will be made. And I wish every Nigerian pensioners to be patient and see how at the union level we can be able to push for their plight and welfare. I thank you very much.
Okay, Ahmed Ghazali, thank you so much for your closing comment. He is the Senior Assistant Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Pensioners. He joined us from Maiduguri via Zoom. Thank you so much for your submission on this. I believe anybody watching, those relevant stakeholders will take into cognizance your contributions on that. Now let's come back here to the studio. In just 30 seconds, what are your final thoughts? How happy should pensioners be that this reform is now taking shape? Though it's not in the 2025 budget, but there will be a supplementary budget and 2026 budget. So how fast would this roll out?
If we come to those of us under the contributory pension scheme, here is DBS, okay? The government has approved, the Federal Executive Council has approved the sum of 758 billion naira in bonds to offset all the payments we are talking about, including the 32,000 naira we are talking about here. As we speak, it's right now with the DMO, the Debt Management Office. So, and Mr. President, about 2 weeks ago, while in a meeting with the DG PECOM, also mentioned that they should expedite action on the implementation. Okay. If that is done, I think it will help government to...
Yes, Comrade Felix, your final words.
Yes. Pardon me.
Your final words.
Oh, my final word is especially goes to PITAD, where I belong to. Let PITAD stop playing on intelligence of pensioners. I know why I'm saying it. PITAD play on the intelligence on pensioners a lot in this country. Those of us that belong to DBS, and enough is enough for that. I spoke with the ES. She called me sometime last week on Friday, and I told her my mind.
Okay.
I said, look, we are trying to be, I'm trying to be sympathetic with you. Otherwise, we would have done what we have been doing as pensioners.
Okay, Comrade Felix.
By going on the street and expose them.
I hope it will not reach to that.
If something is not done quick, it will get to that. It has started in Lagos.
Yes. And I'm sure she's watching and listening. For sure. Yes, and I'm sure she will take action. And Jide Ojo, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let's have your final words. You've listened to the issue raised about PITAD, and going forward, how would they be able to respond to issues like these and ensure that pensioners don't go begging for food, clothing, or rent? That reforms would definitely take place with due implementation. In 30 seconds, please.
Exactly. You said it. Due implementation, that's the big elephant in the room. And it's not just implementation at the federal level, but also at the subnational level. What is the total population of federal government retirees compared to states, 36 states and FCT, compared to 68 local government and 6 area councils? So we need to have an overall, entire workforce, both public and private. Somebody must be there to ensure that this implementation cuts across. But more importantly, this innovation to have health benefit for low-income pensioners should start without further delays. Not every of these senior citizens can afford their healthcare services, and it is innovative and commendable that the federal government under President Bola Tinubu has deemed it fit to bring this to fore. So implementation should commence without further delay to allow these vulnerable groups to enjoy the fruit of their labor while they are still alive.
Okay, Jide Ojo, Development Consultant and Public Affairs analyst. He joined us via Zoom from here in Abuja. Thank you so much for your contribution. Though you came late, we missed you sort of, but you've made up with, with your submissions later on. Thank you so much for coming.
I tell you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Enjoy
and Comrade Felix Ajoku, Public Relations Officer, Federal Civil Service Pensioners Branch of NUP. We appreciate you coming on this program, and I'm sure that, I hope that those listening, those stakeholders listening will take action on all your submissions that you've made here today. Thank you so much. And Comrade Silva Nwawu, National Chairman, Nigerian Union of Pensioners Contributory Pension Scheme. I hope it will get better. Like Nigerians always say, it go better.
It go better. Yeah. Certainly it will.
It will better.
Yeah. With the support of the media as we are doing, we pray that other media houses will do what we are doing.
Okay.
They are listening to us. And the government, especially the present-day government, wants to do what can alleviate the problems of Nigerian workers and pensioners.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
support them.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And that's Tuesday Live for today. Thank you so much for your time. Hope you've been informed, educated on this topic that we've been discussing today. We had our focus on the Social Security pension increases and welfare. Thank you so much for watching. I am Jumma Yusuf. Next week, another interesting topic will be up for discussion. Good night.